There are times I'm reviewing the reports, I shed
That was when
tears.
she went inside and brought a knife, and I said that if I did not agree her, that she was
There
going
is
to
no
stab me.
food, there is no water. It's very terrible.
When we were back to Sokoto, that's when his wife started abusing me.
Every child deserves safety. Every child deserves protection. Every child deserves the right to grow without fear. Yet across Nigeria, thousands of children continue to experience violence, trafficking, exploitation, neglect, and abuse, often in places where they should feel safest: at home, in schools, and within their communities. Behind the statistics are real lives, real pain, real stories. This documentary brings together the voices of survivors and stakeholders working at the front line of child protection in Nigeria. Some survived trafficking, some endured sexual violence, some experienced abuse at the hands of people they trusted. Their stories are difficult, but they must be heard.
This has been reported on the Next Year platform. Over the period of time we've implemented this project, we've had something about 5,000 documented cases of grave violations against children. Now, I'm not talking about just abuses against children. We're not just talking about every kind of exploitation. We're talking about grave violations as defined by the UN Security Council. And more than 20% of these are sexual violence against children. And when you hear 20% and sexual violence against children, it looks like it's just anything. But when you hear that a day-old child is raped, a 2-month-old child is raped, sometimes by 20-something-year-olds, 30-something-year-olds. When you hear that a 9-year-old is taken into marriage by a 50-year-old, I mean, these are things that are unthinkable, but this is what is happening in the country.
Since 2024, Next Year, with support from UNICEF, has been reporting and documenting grave child rights violations. The issue concerning that was that it was noticed that most UN agencies or most development partners were paying attention to what is happening in the Northeast. So there was need for us to also see what is happening to children in other parts of the country.
But behind every policy conversation is a child whose life has been permanently affected.
On 22 of December, her senior sister came and said that she wanted me to go to her house and sweep and mop everywhere for her. Around 4 o'clock in the night, she now came and I said that she wanted to tell me something. And I said what it was that she wanted to tell me. That she wanted her husband to marry me and I would give them chance. And after that, she would do senior rape for me. I didn't agree. That was when she went inside and brought a knife. And I said that if I did not agree, that she was going to stab me. Then I started shouting. Before then, she had already locked everywhere. I couldn't escape. And the compound was big. So nobody heard my voice when I was shouting, begging her husband. The husband was right there. He didn't say anything. So, and I still don't agree. He now make an attempt to stab me with the knife. That was when I agreed. What triggered me was this. Whenever I remember that I lost my virginity, because, and secondly, my school, if I'm not going to school, when I see my mates going to school and I stay back, it hurts very well. So those two things are the things that hurt me.
Her story reflects the painful reality of sexual violence experienced by many children in silence.
The people who are trafficking these people are not angels, they are not spirits. They are people that they know. It could be neighbors, it could be friends, it could be people, acquaintances, and the rest of them. But the sad one is the fact that even parents are beginning to also commodificate their own children. They sell their own children.
Yes, I understand that there's increasing violent conflict issues that is driven by banditry. So in that, you're having attacks on schools, you're having abduction of children and all of that. But what you've noticed that in the last 2 years that I've been doing this, you notice increasing issues concerning sexual violence. And most of these incidents are not carried out by bandits or people outside there, but people within the homes, people who are supposed to cater and take care of those children. So
out of the more than 5,000 incidents, grave violations against children documented, sexual violence is top. And like I try to say, you're talking about sexual violation, sexual exploitation. Some of the children, apart from being sexually abused, are also sexually exploited. Now, abuse is what I do against a child. Exploitation is what I expose the child to suffer so that I gain an advantage. So when somebody takes a child and gives out for prostitution and I get a benefit from it, that becomes exploitation. It's happening.
For many children, exploitation begins with promises of opportunity, safety, or care.
When I was 14 years old in Goroyo, my uncle came to my village and he just carried me, said that I will start schooling. Since the time I finished my primary school, my uncle came from Sokoto. And I was very excited to know that my uncle came too. And at the time I entered the house, Mommy said that my uncle is here to pick me to Sokoto. I will be schooling together with his children. We go to school together. He said he would put me even in private school. That's when I was happy. I cried, leaving my brothers and all my friends at the village. I cried, but I was happy that I will be going to school. But after I left, that's when I realized that is not the case. That's not what he wanted to do. When we were back to Sokoto, that's when his wife started abusing me, asking me to do harsh works which I am unable to do. Sometimes she even used to flog me using cane.
Child rights violations do not happen in isolation. They are often connected to wider social, economic, and governance challenges.
Imagine that bandits come and are able to swoop away 10, 20, 50, 100 people. It just tells us the level of insecurity that our children are exposed to.
for Nigeria government, the Child Rights Act remains a policy document for child protection in the country. And I think it has been domesticated across in almost all the states in Nigeria, even though implementation remains an issue.
Abuse takes many forms, and its effects often last far beyond childhood.
kuma wacce mun taho sai kuma sa ƙara karban wasu suka kai mu daba nan dai Allah ya taimaka dai aka dai samu aka hiddo kuma da aka hiddo kuma mun ƙara tawa mun ƙara koma dai ana ta kwasa kaya kuma dai haye girma suka ƙara tarbe na ina ma da ciki wata 6 wallahi cikin nan sai ya zibi suka tarbe mu nan falgaba ta kama na ringide na faɗi sai dai aka kai ni asibiti aka kwantar da ni wallahi cikin yanzu da sai aka samu leda 5 ta jini.
When it is time for reintegration, you find out that some of their family members often want to reject them. For instance, they re-victimize them in the sense that, like a young girl who has been trafficked for prostitution, they believe that the person is no longer needed in their community. So reintegration is a major challenge.
Children that experience these grave violations, research shows, also grow up to become violators. And so, hitting your question, that's why we need children protected now. Because when you don't protect them and they get exposed to violations, they are the next violators.
On this Children's Day, I think it's important that all actors, not just parents, for government actors and agencies, it's also important that we are raising awareness, we are advocating, and we are doing what is expected of each actor in terms of protecting these children.
Normally, justice for children should ensure that the perpetrator is punished. The child also benefits from every support to get them back to society running, including psychosocial support, economic support, whatever it is, educational support. That's an ideal. It's not always met. On this Children's Day, I just wish to express my solidarity with children and parents who are doing their best to keep children safe. We realize that the burden of keeping our children protected is huge. The gaps are immense.
As Nigeria marks Children's Day 2026, the question is no longer whether child rights violations exist. The question is, what are we willing to do to stop them?